Morning. Oh, Monday, December 9th. 2024. I'm Larissa. Mm, here we are. Time to drink some skulls. Oh my god. I'm tired. I am. I slept pretty good last night, though. Yesterday, yesterday I washed. We put clean sheets on the bed, and I washed the blanket and the bedspread. So got to sleep in a clean, clean, clean bed. Yay. I mean, it's not that I'm sleeping in a dirt bag every night or anything, but you got a dog that gets up on the bed with you and everything with their dart ass stuffing their fluff all over the place. You know? Oh, and he was all excited when the bed's all clean like that. He's like, he rubs himself all over. He's like, I gotta get my stink on everything, get my stink on all of it. Yeah. Yeah. And Omar went with me grocery shopping yesterday, which was good because, like, I don't know, some days I can lift the bags, right? Some days I can't. Um, but I was having trouble bending over yesterday, and I've been having there's something just like pinched funky in my back. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens with this. But because it's been significant the past like week. Yeah. So I don't know. I get that worked out. Yeah. Yeah. I made a pot of soup yesterday. It was pretty good. We'll finish that for dinner tonight. Yeah. So I didn't do like tons of prepping yesterday because what I ended up doing, I bought bags of pre-cut greens, right? And I don't normally buy stuff in bags like that because I find that it goes bad faster in the bags. Like I'll buy a plastic box of spinach or whatever, but not the bags usually. And they were out of boxes. Only boxes that they had. I went to a different grocery store than what I normally go to. I go to this grocery store sometimes, but it's not the one I go to regularly, or I haven't been going to regularly. And they didn't have the boxes of greens. They just had these bags, and I was like, oh, okay. So that affected like what I purchased and what I'm gonna be cooking this week and next week, whatever. Yeah. So last night I made soup, and it was white beans and tomato vegetable stock and some other vegetables, but a bag of mixed it was turnip, mustard, and collard greens. Yeah, yeah, and it was good. I put in pastina and fresh parsley and um, tons and tons of garlic. So yeah, I sautéed the garlic. It was probably like almost two whole heads of garlic worth of garlic. And I smashed it and chopped it up small, and then chopped a big old onion and put that in some butter and olive oil with um, bay leaves and coriander and black peppercorns and fennel seed. Sauteed, 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 sauteed. Yeah, until it was all soft and mellowed the garlic. I mean, you could smell the garlic. Oh my God, you could smell the garlic all over the place. But when you tasted it, because I sauteed it and there was no burn on it, there was no bitterness. So, like, you didn't feel like you had a mouthful of garlic, but there was garlic. Last night there was garlic. Yeah. So that was like how I made, that was the base of the soup. And then I added in the celery and the carrots and sauteed that a little bit, and then I added the beans and the tomato puree and the vegetable stock, and got that going. Oh, and Parmesan rind. So, since I am vegetarian, sometimes you feel like vegetarian soups, depending on what the herbs and things and stuff are, the stock like is missing a depth, right? And it can be, and it's particularly if you don't have mushrooms in the soup, and so the soup did not have mushroom in it. So I use in those cases, um, I add I buy Parmesan rinds, and that's what I use them for making soup base. And it does. It adds a depth of flavor that you don't get otherwise. And I cut them up in small pieces, and they're chewy. If when you get one in your bowl, it looks like, oh, is that a piece of fat? Well, yes, it is, but it's not like fleshy fat. It's cheesy fat. Yeah. Yeah, and so then once everything was combined and hot, then I added in the bag of greens, stirred that in. And also, when you use the Parmesan rind that way, you don't have to use as much salt in your soup. Yeah. And then I added a little bit of pastina. When I say a little bit, I mean less than a quarter cup, right? And because you don't need a lot of it. I was just putting it in to complete the protein with the beans. Yeah. You get some protein from the cheese rind, but not a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't bake bread yesterday. I baked a fruit loaf, a banana loaf, and it wasn't as cakey. Like it was super sweet. So um, I have all these jars of plum sauce that I jarred from our plum tree, and a couple of years ago, like they need to be used. Nice, I have them up there. So I used an entire jar of plum sauce and two bananas, and so the loaf is like sweet and sticky. Oh, it's really good. Really, really good, but it's really dense. It's like a banana brick. Oh yeah, it's really good. So we had that for dessert with butter. Yeah. And I told Omar that I will bake bread probably on Wednesday. Yeah. Or maybe even later. Maybe not until next Sunday because I bought English muffins. So there's English muffins, and we still have like half a loaf of. I buy Dave's Killer Bread. I like to buy the Dave's products because that company employs ex-cons, and it's important for ex-cons to have real jobs so that they don't slip back into whatever it was that got them into prison to begin with. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So other things I'm gonna make for for meals, stuff I got for meals. So I got 2 bags of those mixed greens like we had last night in the soup. And so I'll do some saute. I'll saute those also with some butter, and we'll have those with rice and maybe some black eyed peas. I got black eyed peas down there. I might soak some of those. And then I got a couple things of spinach, and I'll probably do like a spinach salad. I got falafel patties in the freezer. So, yeah. And then I got another kind of greens. I got 3 different bags of greens. I can't remember what all I got. I might have gotten some that are just collards. I'll have to look. I don't remember right now. Yeah. A couple great big potatoes. I'll do some nice baked potatoes. Yeah. And I got stuff to make pasta sauce. And Omar picked out he wanted corkscrews. So we got corkscrew pasta. So I'll make some pasta. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a cheesy pasta. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a spinach and cheese pasta. That sounds good. Yeah, meal planning. Gotta do it. So yesterday I'm trying to avoid watching too much news, consuming too much news, but it was hard to miss what happened yesterday with Syria, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. That's going to be a huge unknown. One thing for sure is that weakens Putin's reputation, right? His appearance, you know. So we'll see what happens in Ukraine now. And Bibi sending troops to the Golan Heights. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, like I said, I really don't want to be watching any of it, seeing any of it, but it's hard. It's hard to like. So, yesterday, I found out something that really upset me. Um, I mean, it upset me to begin with way back when, but it's like now it's like, oh, it makes me even more angry. There there were a large collection of Hopi uh, religious vestments, um, masks that were looted and stolen and were owned by the French government. And there's still a Hopi population, and they're still practicing religious people. And this was like back when we first moved to Oakland. When we first moved to Oakland, that this was in the news. So there was an argument that was going on internationally between the French government and Hopi tribal leaders over the repatriation of these items. Well, they went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The French government refused to give them up, and they were supposed to be housed in a museum in France. And the end public statement was that the French government would make these available to the public and to the Hopi people whenever they needed them. Okay. Well, there were problems with this to begin with. Well, it's like, okay, well, at least they're going to be available to the public to see, right? Like that was like, oh, at least they're going to be available to the public to see, blah. But it's like, what is the reality? So France is a long way away from the American Southwest, right? And that's expensive travel. And so, like, how is that going to work out? Whatever. Well, found out in conversation with somebody else online yesterday that these items ended up on auction block. Or so like I'm not 100% clear whether they're currently on auction block or whether they have already gone to auction. But there's photos of them on auction. And it's just like, wow. So I have to wonder. Now, I said from the beginning that Notre Dame was arson because they were constantly doing refurbishing work on that structure. When you have a structure that's that old and that elaborate and all the stuff about it, like there was always something going on, maintenance always going on, and there was scaffolding. And they said that the fire was started either by electrical or cigarette, right? Um, Either way, it sounds fishy to me. And at the time that fire happened, um, that was also shortly after the recent flip of the Hagia Sophia, which has gone back and forth throughout history between being a Christian church and a mosque. And so it recently was overtaken once more by Islamists and is now a mosque once again. It's gone back and forth. It's gone back and forth, the Hagia Sophia. And it has been a point of reference throughout history in war for that. Like, it's like capture the flag, capture the Hagia Sophia, right? So that happened, like I said, that happened, and then Notre Dame happened. I think Notre Dame was arson. I don't think it was an accident. I think it was arson. Yeah. And it was just interesting to find out about these Hopi artifacts, these Hopi pieces. Like, they're referred to as artifacts, but they were still in use, right? Like, it would be the equivalent of stealing, like, the Pope's hats or the Pope's scepters, right? Or, bishops' scepters, staffs, and things. Like, they're art pieces that have been around for a long time, but they were still in use, kind of thing, right? Yeah, they're really interesting. They're shaped like all these different animals and stuff. They're really interesting. Yeah. Yes. So it was upsetting to me. But anyway, I posted about this, and then I tagged this publication who had recently posted that they are hiring. And I looked at it because I was like, oh, how much are you paying for this full-time writing position, right? That would potentially require relocation. And it was a good offer, right? It was the pay range was good. But when I looked at the application, they had a question on the initial application, right? Not even the one that you get second in, after you've been filtered out of the initial bunch. There's a question on the application asking you to describe, do you come from a group that is marginalized or has no voice in some way? And I was just like, wow. Like, that's something that you're using to, like, you should, I don't know, when I've been looking for people to write for One of Monthly since I started One of Monthly, right? And, my biggest concerns are, number one, do you know anything about the topics I want you to write about? And number two, can you write? There's no consideration for your able-bodiedness or your skin color or your ethnic heritage. Like, that doesn't play into it. And I've also been really open-ended in seeking, allowing somebody who was going to write to have them pitch to me what they want to write about, so long as it falls in the parameters of slow culture, slow art, slow business, slow food, slow fashion, right? Slow living. That's what's important to me. Oh, and that, you can legally work in this country. So, I was like, no, I would never want to write for you because you're showing bias in your application process. I don't have to give you a sob story about my life in order to get a job. Jeez. The hell kind of application is that? Yeah, bothered me. Bothered me. Anyway, anyway, really bothered me. Really, really bothered me. And all this garbage about Meghan Markle and Harry. Why is this news? Why is she news? What does she fucking do? You know, what does she make? What does she do? What does she do? Why am I supposed to care? Why am I supposed to give a shit about this bitch? Why? I don't know. Like, why am I supposed to care about Harry for that matter? I mean, the most notable thing about him is the family that he comes from. And even that, like, I don't understand outside of England, outside of the UK, where, they have their public events that they do or whatever for the community or whatever there. Outside of that, why is anybody supposed to give a shit about them? Um, yeah. I don't I've never been big into following royal news. I don't believe in monarchy as a form of government, right? I believe in separation of church and state. And monarchy is the opposite of that, right? Like, so, you know, anyway, I don't know. Then, some of the stuff, I don't know why, but my feed has just been inundated with this royal family crap. And I don't know why. I don't know what I clicked on that made the algorithm decide that I needed to see all this shit, but that's what's been happening. And um I've watched a couple things, because they have clickbait kind of like headlines or titles or whatever on these videos. And I've watched a couple of them, and it's just like then when they critique her, it's the weirdest kind of shit. I don't care what she fucking wears or how she does her hair. Who cares? Why are we critiquing her on that? I mean, she obviously does not care about like doing any kind of real community work, and she doesn't make anything or have any kind of skill. Like, so why don't you talk about that? Why are you wasting time critiquing her hairstyle and her jewelry or lack thereof, or oh, she wears sleeveless things too much, or like, I'm like, what these all of these channels that all of these people that have careers being a royal critic, or a critic of the royal family, or what, like, that's just weird. It's just weird. That's just weird. And then they don't talk about anything of any real substance. Like, oh, there's one. Oh, let's look at the body language here. Harry has obviously had it with her. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh my God. This is not interesting to me. It's like, I don't watch daytime TV either. And sometimes, like, I'm in positions and places where it's on, right? And you don't have any choice unless you have headphones with you where it's there, like in salons or whatever. And it just, like, it's mind numbing. Like, yeah, this is why I don't watch this shit. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about any of this crap. I don't want this crap taking up real estate in my brain. Oh, no. Is it supposed to give me something to talk about with others? Like, is this stuff that people really care about and have conversations about? Not anything I would care to have a conversation about. Oh my gosh. I have things that I can have conversations with people about, but they're not the kinds of things that people want to have conversations about. Evidently. I don't know. Stuff that I write about in my magazine. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I got another article written for the magazine, and now I have one more to write, which is the opening article. I have that to write for the February issue, and I'm starting to compile ideas and things for March, setting aside images and things. So I know some stuff that's going to go into the March issue already now, and I'm nearing completion on the February issue. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done this week. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. Yeah, and do some more work on Omar's uh, Christmas present and address some Christmas cards. Yeah, I should do that. I haven't done it. Usually I have them done on Thanksgiving and I mail them out, and I haven't. So anyway, anyway, anyway. Finish my tea here. I get showered and dressed and ready to go because I got things to do today.